As one of Al-Qaeda's most respected bomb makers, Aimen Deen rubbed shoulders with the mastermind of 9/11, of the 9/11 attacks, and swore allegiances to Osama bin Laden himself. As a double agent at the heart of Al-Qaeda's chemical weapons program, he foiled attacks on civilians and saved countless lives, brushing with death so often that his handlers began to call him their spy with 9 lives. This is the story of how a young Muslim determined to defend his faith found himself fighting on the wrong side, and his fateful decision to work undercover for his sworn enemy. From the killing fields of Bosnia to the training camps of Afghanistan, from running money and equipment to Britain and dodging barrel bombs in Syria, we discover what life is like inside the global jihad and what it will take to stop it for once and for all. This story was so intriguing that it reads like a fiction novel.
Yeah, no, legit.
So yeah, what do you think about it?
I thought it was incredibly interesting.
Did you listen? You didn't listen to it, did you?
No, I didn't listen to it. I read the PDF.
You got to listen to a little bit of the audio book because the accents were really entertaining. It
Oh,
was
is
like
that-
the stereotypical Arab speaking English but sounding Arabian. And I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. Most importantly, I learned things. It was literally a 007 secret agent type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it was lacking the most important part. You know, the
Stealth
girls.
mission. Oh.
The girls. But he's the reason that MI6 were able to track calls in and out of Al-Qaeda's secret base.
Massive IKEA.
He did a switcheroo on their satellite phones with one that was tapped. So yeah, he's done a lot. He saved our lives so many times, and we don't even know.
Bro, to
and these
be undercover for 8
Al-Qaedas,
years, he had to have done a lot.
These jihadis, mate. It always sounds racist, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does.
Them Mohammeds. But yeah, them man are on smoke, you
Oh, it's
know.
different level.
The amount of plots they're trying to do, just release
different
gas
level.
and
Yeah, New York
kill
subway.
people.
Yeah.
Over here as well, they're just trying to,
course.
like, they're just on smoke.
And you know, once they say they're going to do something, it don't matter if it's 10 years or 20 years
They're
or 50
gonna
years, Salman Rushdie, we're going to get your ass.
Literally.
So it's like the level of, if you ever get discovered, even if you get smuggled out by, you know, SEAL Team 6, you know, American Black Ops team, you're still not safe.
Yeah.
You're never safe. So the balls it takes to do that job, it's insane, and he volunteered. So he's my new hero. At one time or another, every boy dreamed of being a secret agent when he was young. We didn't even do the intro. I just clicked to do the intro. Cool gadgets, fighting bad guys, and Aimen Deen lived it. A former member of the jihadist group Al-Qaeda, Deen defected after the US embassy bombings and became a spy for the British Foreign Intelligence Service MI6 over the course of 8 years. You may think your job is dangerous. Maybe you drive big vehicles and are one lapse of concentration away from causing a traffic accident. If I'm at work and broken glass gets into the ice station, we could slice someone's throat open. But Mole in Al-Qaeda trumps all of that. You know exactly what these lot will do to you if they find out you're a spy. You will be marked for life. And that's if you manage to get away, which is no guarantee.
They will behead you on camera.
Oh, on camera.
That's what they do.
No blindfold. Nah, it's not.
Behead you.
It's not a joke. They'll
They
put that
love,
on.
they love a beheading.
They
though,
will
don't
put
they?
that shit on YouTube.
It's like their culture.
Yeah, they put it on Reddit. They'll literally put it on Reddit.
Yeah, you can find beheadings there, definitely.
Insane. You know what they're gonna do. And you might even be lucky if they just behead
No,
you,
you'd
because
be
you're a
lucky.
spy.
Yeah, you'd be lucky.
You're a
They talk
spy.
to you.
Yeah, come on.
And you will, yeah. One of us, you're a traitor. Not
They
just a spy. You're
behead
a
you
traitor.
for showing an ankle. If you're a woman.
It's fair enough.
Yeah,
though.
traitor. Punishment for this crime.
This undercover MI6 agent who was working behind enemy lines as a jihadi terrorist working for Al-Qaeda while running through the battlefield unearthed 4 landmines at once and was tangled in the wires. They luckily hadn't exploded yet. He was standing there frozen on the spot, but of course he couldn't move an inch in case the mines exploded. Problem was, he was standing there. He was sitting duck for a sniper. So he's on the battlefield.
bro.
Just,
It's
do I
safe.
move? Do I get down? He said like he was just waiting for the bullet to hit him.
Course.
And I think in that scenario, you're better off taking your chance with the landmines. Because what's the alternative? Get shot, then fall back onto the landmines, or you'll be blasted into Jannah. That's the Arabic word for heaven, for those that don't know. Anyway, a soldier,
Or Jahannam, bro.
a friendly soldier, army style, crawled to him and was untangling the wires. While Aimen was just standing there frozen. Aimen said that the soldier spoke soft words to him as he was untangling the wires, and he said, for 1 to not explode, you'd be lucky. 2 to not explode is extremely fortunate. 3, a miracle. And 4, well,
And it goes from there.
God must be, boom.
Do you know what I mean? God have a big plan
He
for
said,
you.
God must be watching over you.
You got a big plan
But if
for you.
I had survived that, I would Rambo style run towards the enemy machine gun fire, because clearly there's some
It's my lucky
divine
day.
power
Yeah, it's my
that
lucky
is
day.
repelling the forces of death, and then I would immediately do the lottery.
You can't. I mean, I would have done the lottery first, to be honest, but
I'd be like, screw you guys, I'm going home.
wait, lottery to ram, can't do that. Got to take that shit off, turn that shit off immediately.
Turn the power off.
Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, man said 4 landmines, and he's just there, standing there. The snipers are like,
Do you know what I mean? The
you see
sniper's
the
like,
glinting, you see the
sniper's like,
glinting.
what's this? Yeah, oh yeah, the glinting from the scope. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're done, mate. You can't even. What you can do?
Don't shoot.
After 4 years of service to the jihad, it took MI6 11 days to turn Aimen Deen against Al Qaeda. A 7-month debriefing followed, where Deen sang like a canary to Her Majesty's Secret Service about Osama bin Laden, about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was alleged to have been behind 9/11, and other persons of interest from Al Qaeda. When the British government suggested, you should go back over there, do some more work for us, maybe, he was like, yes. Stopped it. He was like, shh, yes. According to Dean, any more misgivings he had were quickly suppressed when he saw Al Qaeda prepared to deploy chemical weapons against their enemies with psychopathic glee. Whatever I did was justified by what they did, he said, which I found to be an interesting statement, because is that how religion's supposed to work?
Well, they said, there's a statement I should have written down, but they said something along the lines of, I don't know. Basically, they said it said something along the lines of, I don't know what it said. I don't know what it said.
You don't even know the message, the general
No,
message.
the general message was, if you become a traitor for the right reasons,
Yeah.
then it's okay, sort of thing. If your people have lost their way, that's what it was. But I should have actually written it down, but I didn't think I'd need it. But he kept saying it in the book. But so what are you trying to say? He did the wrong thing?
Well, I'm trying to suppose, it's a supposition that maybe that line of thinking isn't actually in line with religious values, you know. Whatever I did doesn't matter now, because you're supposed to, what you do is between you and God.
Well, yeah, I mean, Islam is one of those religions that, I mean, it's so widely interpreted, you know, it's just, people are confused about a lot of things. I mean, but the problem is, Islam, it calls people to action, whereas some other religions don't actually do that so much. Or
Stand up.
No, what it is that Muslims take Islam seriously. That's what it is. So Christians, in the Bible, it will tell you to kill every man, every woman, every child, but Christians go, he doesn't mean it.
They don't take it seriously.
God doesn't mean it.
They
Whereas
don't take it seriously.
Islam,
they're not about that life. They're about that life for real.
Yeah. Aimen, an MI6 agent, speaks about the time the CIA kidnapped his friend Zubaida and waterboarded him 83 times before he was transferred to Guantanamo Bay. You can search this up, guys. He's known as the forever prisoner because he has been convicted of no crime with no possible chance of release.
Damn.
Zubaida, 52 years old, was captured in Pakistan in March 2002 and was taken to several CIA dark sites in Poland, Lithuania, and elsewhere. He was the first victim of what was to become a widespread use of torture by the US against terror suspects. He was transferred to Guantanamo Bay in 2006, where he has been held there ever since. And it's so interesting to hear about war crimes that the West has and is committing. Usually when we talk about war crimes, it's that enemy has committed them. And it gets worse. The US initially claimed he was a top Al Qaeda operative, but was forced to concede he was not even a member of the terror group. Everybody agrees they tortured the wrong guy and they went ahead anyway so that they could get permission to torture other people.
Damn.
I looked it up and they asked him to draw images of torture methods that they used, and it was all manners of things, you know, that they were doing, you know, beating him. They even tried to humiliate him. They left him frozen. They soaked him with water and had cold fans on him, and they said they left him sitting in the chair, chained up for weeks.
Jesus.
Weeks. And whatnot.
And
apparently,
then they sent him to Guantanamo Bay after all of that.
That was in Guantanamo.
Oh, that was in there.
Apparently, the total of tortured victims by the CIA is over 200 people. So,
Yeah, no, the CIA are definitely about that life, though. We watch these kind of secret agent movies, and the CIA are they like police basically. We just pull up with the drugs or whatever. The CIA, these men
CIA
are
plant the
about
drugs.
that life. They sell the drugs. Forget plant. They sold them. They grew them. Like, they fund them.
Yeah.
They are literally just the original.
And it's funny because it talks about that in this book as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that
100%. They're just the original, like, working the greyest of greys. Deen was a child prodigy. He became a Hafiz at the age of 12, a title given to those who have memorized the Quran. He memorized the Quran at 12. Unsurprisingly, anybody who could spy Al-Qaeda undetected for the better part of a decade is clearly someone with intelligence. This guy had to go back and forth between countries for 8 years, masking his true intentions the entire time, feeding the MI6 information, but making sure it can't come back to him, because, some ways to flush out a traitor, you were like, we're going to attack New York, and then, we're going to attack Paris.
Yeah.
And then wherever the CIA turned up, kill that guy.
Yeah.
Very easy to catch a traitor like that. Somehow, he did it for 8 years, consistently passing them information, never got caught. Meanwhile, he's still preaching the jihad, encouraging others to join the cause. This is something he later experienced guilt for.
He was in a tricky situation.
He had to. He really had to. It's a very sticky situation. He definitely had to, though. Because, imagine you just stop preaching the jihad one day. They're going to be like, are you okay, brother?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't seem enthusiastic about the holy war.
But even sometimes, I thought he kind of gave himself away when people were showing him videos of people being beheaded and he looked shocked and stuff like that. He should have been letting off AKs like the rest of that's what they do.
Well, you say that, but it's like he said he had an interview with a news reporter whose name I forgot, and he said some of the jihadists said they wanted to be martyred quickly because they were tired, and we just want to be martyred. That's our goal. That's like our reward. And some were like, we want to be martyred, but we want to punish God's enemies on the way out. We're going to take as many of them as possible. We want to be martyred at 80 years of age. I take out so many of them and then finally they get me. And that's like kind of what they want. But it's all the same thing.
Death.
It's all the same thing. They all want to be martyred.
When your enemy just want to die, it's bad news.
If the enemy want to die and they want to take as many of you as possible with them, you've basically already lost.
It's bad news.
Unless you wipe them out.
You've got to wipe them out.
Which is exactly like
genocide.
Yeah, or you have to show that you have the capacity and the willingness to wipe them out with enough.
It doesn't matter.
Well, that's what they did with Japan. That's what the US did with Japan.
That's Japan.
Yeah, no, I know.
When you've got when you're fighting a religious force who this life means nothing. This is just a passing place. Japanese said, boy, well, we got families, we got women, we got children. Them Muslims don't business.
They literally said, you send us to send me to my family. Send us to Jannah.
You killed most of my family, the rest of them are up there anyway. So, it's a problem when you've got an enemy like that.
But from the concept of suicide bombing, it's like, bro, these men are different, because like Americans would never do that.
Well, they did.
Well, they did, but it's like they're not the same.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, but it's not the same level.
It's not mass.
It's not the same level.
The most committed soldiers, like, they step forward or whatever.
It's not the same.
Pearl Harbor, have you watched that film?
I watched it years ago, but I don't remember it.
So when they dropped the nukes, it was a suicide mission sort of thing. They ain't coming back. The media usually talk about the negative things that have happened before the Taliban rule of Afghanistan, but it's not all bad. Here's what the media hasn't told you. The Taliban have cleaned up much of the corruption for which the former US-backed government was notorious for. From 2001 to 2021, crooked officials siphoned off billions of dollars of foreign assistance. The Taliban retained much of the previous bureaucracy, but it took strict anti-graft measures. By one estimate, the regime's house cleaning at customs and checkpoints eliminated 1.4 billion in bribes. This is just since they've taken over.
Bribes,
They cleaned it up. Another thing that's improved since the Taliban have gotten into power is a dramatic drop in narcotics production. Afghanistan ranked as the world's largest producer of opium when the Taliban took over. Soon after coming into power, the new regime launched a campaign against all kinds of narcotics, rounding up drug addicts, destroying opium and cannabis fields, and arresting traders. The UN estimates that drug production has fallen by 95%, the most successful anti-drug effort anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
so this was another book that I was trying to get us to read, but it was too long. It was about opium and Afghanistan, and that's basically what this is all. It's all the war's about. So America didn't want the Taliban to come in because the Taliban are against the drugs.
Yeah.
And the drugs go straight from Afghanistan, they get shipped straight to America, and someone's making big money.
Gosh.
I think the drugs are making even more than oil. So we think it's
damn.
oil,
Damn.
but it's drugs, which is also, believe it or not,
Eye-opening.
yeah, believe it or not, they've even encouraged foreign tourism. Overall, travel is safer, and many Afghans are rediscovering their own country. And also, probably the most surprising, since the Taliban have taken over, there's a surge of primary school attendance for both boys and girls. Which is quite interesting because the media always focus on the fact that Taliban have banned girls from going to secondary school and university. But for some reason, they don't note that the Taliban have improved attendance for primary school for girls. I mean, they clearly aren't against women getting an education. They must have their reasons. And I mean, I'd be interested to know what their reason is for banning girls attending secondary school and university. I suspect it's a lack of resources, so they're prioritizing boys and men because they're more likely to build the country up. You know, the vast majority of women are going to fall pregnant and take time off work. That's what I assume. I don't know. But they're obviously not against.
That would be logical. If
They're
that's
not
what they
against
did.
education because they've boosted
not,
the numbers. But yeah, we look at the Taliban as some savage whatnot, but they're running
Dothraki.
shit. Yeah, that really done a number on you when I said that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I didn't even clock.
But yeah, the Taliban aren't all bad. I mean, we call them a terrorist group or whatnot, but they're clean. They wanted their country back, and they're clean.
I'm going to be real. Who isn't a terrorist group at this point? Like, define terrorists. If you fight wars with acts of terror, then, you know, we've got the countries of the West have their own stuff to answer for.
Yeah, of course.
And arguably a lot more than the countries of the East.
What better weapon would a terrorist have than nuclear power? And that's what the West have, nuclear power.
And we ain't afraid to use them, and we did use them.
I got one more.
I've got one more as well. The CIA blew Dean's cover. Ron Suskind was an American Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist who published a book called The 1% Doctrine about the USA's hunt for terrorists since 9/11. In the book, he spoke about a planned chemical attack on the 34th Street New York subway in 2003. What's interesting is that the attack in question didn't actually happen. 45 days in advance, the Al-Qaeda cell assigned to monitor the location cancelled the attack. The revelation helped to blow Aimen Deen's cover. What's even more interesting is that allegedly it was the CIA who fed Susskind the info. So the White House literally messed with MI6's spy. The White House literally said, yeah, because at the end of the day, there are those who suspect the CIA's intentions were to smoke out the rats. It wouldn't be the first time that they've helped bin Laden. The CIA funded the Mujahideen against the Soviet Union when they invaded Afghanistan. So the Russians invaded Afghanistan, Soviet-Afghan war. The CIA was funding bin Laden to get the Russians out. Because this is what, 70s, 80s, around time of the Cold War? They backed bin Laden and his brothers against the Russians, the CIA. So they
CIA
really just, bro, they
we need to
everywhere.
read a book about what the CIA
Oh
has done
my
then.
God,
They've done
we want to
some
get killed.
underhand shit.
That's that their whole job is underhand shit. They have to. They literally have to.
There's a reason, and I suspect it's to do with money.
It always comes back to money.
That's
On
what
some
always-
level, it
that's
comes
what
back to
always
money.
comes down to. This book finally explained to me why Muslims hate America so much. It's never made any sense to me. We assume these Taliban are stupid, and a lot of them are, but the ones at the top are very clever. So because there are so many Muslim terrorist groups, as we call them, for example, there's Al-Qaeda, there's the Taliban, there's ISIS, somebody realized that they need to create a common enemy so that they can stop fighting and killing each other, and that they can band together. America is the perfect enemy. Obviously, you can point out all the things that Muslims think is evil, all the sin, you know, worship of money. The West is undevout on the whole, and not to mention America was stealing billions of dollars and oil and growing opium and heroin in Afghanistan.
Yeah, nah, come on.
So that's what 9/11 is about. We think they are savage and crazy. They aren't. They planned 9/11 to trigger a war against the USA. Why, you might ask? They needed USA to bomb their own country to rile up their own people enough to overthrow the Afghan government, which was run by America. And it looks like it's worked, because guess who's in power now? The Taliban. So they're playing 4D chess. When was 9/11? 2001?
2001, yeah.
And they're making moves 20 years in advance, and we think they're idiots. So yeah, they had to wake up their own people. So they had to trigger a war, get America to bomb us. So yeah, it was an amazing plan.
Operation Get Bombed.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because once you get bombed, you're like, what's the government doing
You
about
can't-
it? And the
yeah,
government's
yeah.
run by America. So
Yeah,
So
100%.
it's weird.
And they know they can't do anything about it because it's them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
literally
then
not
when
even
you
us, it's
push out,
them.
you push out the government, you put your own government in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's brilliant plan.
That is brilliant, to be honest.
I mean, it was obviously atrocities that they committed.
Well, yeah.
Killing the thousands of people in 9/11. But yeah,
How many was it? 3,000? I think 3,000.
I don't know. It's too many. It's too many. You finished?
Yeah, mine's done.
All right. Well, we can end with quote of the day.
Go for it.
Have you got one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't have a question of the day for this one.
Ah, yeah, I forgot.
I thought you would have had one. Quote of the day. If you want to know what a man's like, take a good look at how he treats his inferiors, not his equals.
Yeah, I've heard that before, but it's nonetheless a good quote.
That's why I treat you so good. My inferior. Not my equal.
Quote of the day. Laughter is mental disinfectant.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I think it's
good.
pretty
Nice
good.
and short.
I think it's pretty good.
Laughter's mental disinfectant. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I like it.
So mine was better.
No, yours definitely wasn't better. Yours definitely wasn't better.
I think mine
was
was
shit.
neither.
It's just like you.
we
You're
haven't
shit.
we haven't heard my one before. You heard your one before. So by the laws of
What?
scarcity,
What do you mean weave?
I've heard your one before. You
I've
haven't
heard
my
yours
one
before.
No, you haven't.
Yeah,
Where?
You just said it.
Huh?
You said it.
Before I
heard
said
that.
it.
Doesn't matter.
I've heard it.
I've heard
more
it now.
times.
You said it twice now.
I
so.
think we're in agreement. Mine was better.
This is you see what I mean about my inferiors.
I
Till
don't
next
know.
time.